How goes it, y'all? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. I'm going to be talking about Americans not going on a vacation enough. It's kind of crazy. I read this article the other day. It's one of those things you take for granted. And you don't even realize it when you get to go on vacation, and so many other people never really have the joys and pleasures of going, not being able to go on vacation. And I say, why, oh, why is this phenomenon true? And I'm going to get into it right now. According to CNBC and Forbes, 49% of Americans won't be taking vacation this summer in 2019. I know we're in January only already, but it's crazy. And and there's obviously a various amount of reasons. There's a lack of money, plays into a role, and then obviously other reasons fall into this category for why so many people are not going on vacation or staying at home. But to me, it's very disturbing because we all need some time to kick back and relax and be mellow and chill. I think that's why you have so many uptight, miserable people walking around nowadays. Outside of being unemployed, that's another story, but you just have so many people who are gainfully employed and make a great amount of money, but they're still miserable and unhappy. They don't get to really enjoy their lives like that. There are so many reasons why you see people are calling America the no vacation nation. Various amount of surveys were conducted, and it stated, and I quote, 50% of Americans can't even afford to go on vacation anymore. 24% of people stated that they have family obligations, which I can understand that. We all have our obligations and things of that nature and responsibilities, so where we just can't, most people don't have the luxury of just being able to jump up and go. So I get that. I totally understand that, but it's pretty sad and it's pretty crazy all at the same time. So it is what it is. And 22% stated that they cannot take time off from work, which I thought was sad all in itself, But everybody's in their own different situations, so you can never put everybody in one single specific category. I totally get that, But I will make some comparisons compared to German workers and United States workers. For a German worker, a year into their job, they are usually expected to get about 20 days of paid vacation. So Monday through Friday, 20 days of paid vacation. That's about 4 weeks off. That's a beautiful thing. Most people don't have that luxury, So it's pretty sad, And then at times, other situations, it's actually up to 25 days or more off, So when you go to the U.S. side, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, U.S. employers are most likely to have, if they're lucky, 10 to 14 days of paid vacation after 1 year of gainfully being employed with a specific company, organization, whatever. Less than 5 days more than 24 days is rare, and in their experience, only about 8 to 2% have that luxury, to have those amount of days off. 30% of Americans have about, usual paid time days off is between 5 to 9 days off annually each year, while 38% have 10 to 14 days off. And the final 16%, they're get the chance to enjoy days around 15 to 19 days off a year. So it all varies. It just depends on who you're working for, how long you've been working for them, etc., and so forth. These numbers comes from this Ford article that I read about a couple of days ago. But I thought that it was crazy when I read it. And when it's really broken down, most Americans, even if they have the money, do not have enough time to take off from work. Most people nowadays cannot even, and never will, be able to afford to go with leave without pay at their job, because most people live paycheck to paycheck in their jobs. As you see right now with the government shutdown, a lot of people are being affected, and it's sad. And a lot of people having to go to food banks, and a lot of people are, they're in dire needs, and they might end up, going homeless, or, so it just depends. It always goes back to, you can't just have a single income anymore. Those days are done, they're gone, and they're never coming back. So that's just what it is. But I digress. And if you look at this chart, it shows vacations that Americans, in a sense, we get the raw deal, compared to other nations. Now, obviously, in those other nations, they have their own issues. That's one thing. They have their own other issues. In a lot of instances, they pay high taxes, but a lot of these nations are promised more paid time off for their the middle class and the upper class working people. So it just depends on your situation, how you want to live your life, what opportunities are available to you. The list goes on and on. But like I said, in a sense, it's a sad state of affairs. A lot of people can't even afford to take time off, and even the whole leave without pay. Like in my early 20s, I can understand that. Now I can't even fathom what a day without pay is like. I want to be able to make money in my sleep. So, but that's just me, and a lot of other people feel that way. And then a lot of times, most people nowadays, even if they do have to take a day off, and if it's or leave without pay, it's usually because it's emergency. They're sick, a loved one's sick. So I totally get it. So. And another crazy thing, even when Americans have the vacation, this is just very astonishing to me. Even when they do have the vacation time to take off, they will not use it, which I think is crazy. But I can understand that because when I worked in the private sector, just first getting out there, I always feared getting sick, and I definitely, and it wasn't because of just getting sick, getting a common cold, or a flu. It was because I was worried about taking time off. Even if I had some time, I didn't want to use it for that, but obviously that's what it's there for. Or taking time off, because I remember having a job without pay, out leave, without paid time off. So when I took a day off, that means no pay, and that's I had to suffer because of that. And a lot of people do. It's not a good thing. I can't even imagine what it's like for someone who has a family working for an organization that does not give vacation time off. It's got to be that much harder. That's why they even say a lot of millennials not having children, because for various reasons, such as, and I'll just name two, because of student loan debt, so they can't really afford to have children, and then two, they don't have enough time to be with the children. So it's all these things that go back and forth. That's why a lot of people advocate having their own businesses, because it puts you in a position where you can have as much free time off as you need, as long as you're grinding it out, or you had that work balance, not the work-life balance, to where you might be working 24/7, but you're at home and you have time to be with your children, even though you're working half of the time, but you're still able to be there with the kids, and then you're able to build more of a relationship with them and all that good stuff. So, like I said, it all varies. It really all varies when he boils down to it. But I couldn't even imagine being like that. And especially nowadays, because with a lot of jobs and in a lot of states, one thing I will say with sincerity is we live in a time where most states are considered right to work states. Say that I live in Virginia, and then my dream state, California, both right to work states, meaning, and I quote, that they don't really need to have a reason to get rid of you. They have the right to terminate your employment, and that's all she wrote, and most people just think that's fine. Hey, this is why I think having your own business and having side hustles and being around people who believe in the whole money circling around the family/community thing is inevitable. You have no choice. It takes a village. There's no other way to put it. And if you're still thinking that it's 1975 and you could just have a single income and everything's going to be all hunky-dory, then you are living in the past. And I don't care if you're living in an area where the job market's great or where it sucks, you're living in the past, but I'll leave that alone. That's just my personal opinion. Side hustles and owning a business is a must. Unless you were born into wealth, and that's a whole different story. Whole different conversation, But according, finishing off the article, Bankrate Chief Financial Analyst Greg McBride stated, and I quote, that there are 6 million open and unfulfilled jobs in the economy right now in 2019. And the main reason for this is because employers can't find qualified workers. This is what he stated. And I've heard this from multiple sources, that there's so many great jobs out there, but the company's having a hard time finding the people to fill the positions. And a lot of the reasons is, and this is a lot of reasons why companies bring people from other countries over here a lot of times, because those, in certain instances, they have the skill sets that these companies need. Or these other companies will open up in other countries because they have the educated workforce for the jobs. And it's crazy. And he said, and I quote, a lot of existing employers are carrying a heavier load, and that might keep them tethered at the desk instead of taking time off, because that would otherwise, affect the company. And obviously, if it affects the profits of the company, then the company won't be able to have the employees, And it's the fact that there's so many jobs out there, but the companies cannot find the qualified employees in itself is just crazy, But like I said, another thing is, I've heard, and I quote, and I've seen, and I quote, a lot of colleges are producing a lot of smart analytical thinkers. Hey, I went to college. This is not a bashing on college, but they're producing a lot of critical and analytical thinkers. but they are not producing people with enough job skill sets. Some are getting to that, some are to that point now, some are getting to that point now, or trying to get to that point in the future. But the biggest problem is that. And the burden has been put on them, on the colleges, to do this. And this is why a lot of people are not finishing college, or they don't want to go to college because they don't want to spend all this time, and especially all this money, this debt, into something that's not going to put them in a position to be able to really compete in today and in tomorrow's economy. So, but there's other arguments. I even saw this one Canadian show, and they stated, and I tend to agree, they said that there was a time, because this was a Generation Xer, who said there was a time where you could get a 4-year degree and companies actually took the time to train you. You know, now majority of the companies want you to have more than a college degree. They want you to have the skill sets, and they're not really willing to train you. But you have some big companies and some small companies who have created their own university to where they're like, hey, if you got a 4-year degree, we'll come train you. We're not going to obviously hire you at the top dollar, but you'll be able to come to our company, get trained, get a skill set. So then you have both hand in hand, college degree and skill set, you know. So the arguments could go back and forth until you're black and blue in the face, red in the face, whatever, you know, about this subject matter and various other subject matters. But that's where we are as a society right now. If you know, so back at the subject at hand. If you have the time but don't have the money, do the crazy thing that I used to do when I first got into the job market. And I had my first week's paid time off, which was a phenomenal thing to me at 20 years old. Stay home, have a staycation, go for a walk, go see a movie, do whatever, ride a bicycle. I don't care. Just do something local. You live in a specific area, try to enjoy it. If you can't afford to go across country, I get it, because it's very expensive. Or going to another country, I get it. It's very expensive. I totally understand. But you got to be able to take some time off and enjoy your life a little bit. I cannot stress that enough, because life is too short. We could all be dead tomorrow. Enjoy your freaking life. A gentleman I used to work with named Thomas used to say this to me all the time. You got one life, youngin', and you better live it. And that brother was from DC, and it was real talk. I couldn't agree with him more on that one. We can all work hard, but we can play hard all at the same time. You know, meaning, hey, I could be on vacation someplace, but I'm still going to work while I'm there. You know, I want my life to be able to, when I wake up in the morning, I'm doing whatever I wanted to do, but I'm setting aside time to when I have to work. And if I'm on call because of a customer has an issue or a complaint, or a partner has an issue or a complaint, I can address it at that very moment. I could be on the beach talking business, you know, but that's what I consider a work life, not just a work-life balance, a work life. You know, because then I'm creating my own destiny, speaking it and doing it all at the same time, you know. But before I end this video off, and thank you guys for the ones who have hung around, I will read why a lot of Americans state why they are not taking time off from the job. And here are the 7 reasons. Number 1, I can't get my preferred vacation days approved. Well, great, then take your days off that you take the time off that are not the preferred situations. You know, they actually, boss, hey, what day, the preferred dates, actually, boss, well, what days can I take off? And then take the days off. Even if you can't go anywhere, just have a staycation, enjoy your life, because life is too short. All right, number 2, I'm too important to my company to take off. Well, unless you own the company, you're not that important. I'm just going to keep it real on that note. Because when you work for somebody, you can always be replaced. Remember that. Do not buy into the nonsense that you can't be replaced. We can all be replaced as a worker. As an owner, it's a different story. And even in certain instances, if your company's that big enough, you could be replaced. So don't think you're irreplaceable. Take time off. Enjoy your life. I cannot stress it and say it enough, you know. And then number 3, I may not get a promotion if I am seen taking too much vacation. I say this now, say it tomorrow, and say it till the day I die. Screw the promotion. It's a crazy concept. Think about it. Screw the promotion. Is getting a promotion and making a little bit more money really worth having a life that you want to take a vacation from all the time, but you can't take a vacation from because you're too busy working? Is it really that serious? And to me, it's like, if you're going to work that hard, it better be towards something so where you buying assets so you can say to your boss one day, thank you for the opportunity, but I'm done. My time here is over with. I want to spend more time with myself or with my friends and family. So have a nice life. I quit my job. You know, that old song, take this job ain't shilly. I ain't working here anymore. You know what I mean? It's just, life is too short. Come on now. So number 4, I'm afraid of visiting another country. I can get that. Hey, I haven't been to another country since I was a child. I can't wait to go very soon. But life is about adventure, and I think that's one thing I love about my generation, my millennial generation. We appreciate adventures more than we do things, and I'm all about the adventures, family. I say that with a lot of sincerity. I really am, because life is too short. You got to enjoy your life. I mean, come on now. You really have to. You got to explore. This world was not meant for us to just stay in one little pocket in one little corner or just one country. This world was meant for us to explore. Let's explore, man. Let's explore, you know. And then, so what is it? Number 5, it's too difficult to plan a vacation for my entire family. Totally get it. I totally get it. And here's the crazy thing. If it takes you 2 or 3 years to plan a vacation, do so. Or if you guys just end up going to a freaking theme park that's an hour or 2 away, do it. You know, it's like do it in the summertime. Take a couple of days off. Or if need be, take your kids off from school for a couple of days. They deserve a little time to have some fun with the family too. Shoot, it ain't gonna kill them. You know. And then number 6. My children are too young to drag on vacation. I get it. Go to a local park then. Take the time off. Spend the day with them in the house that you pay so much money to live in. Most people, especially in the DMV, pay so much money to live in houses that they don't really get to enjoy, except for a few hours out of the day and 2 days on the weekend. We got one life, people. And then, you know, last but not least, number 7, I've got too much work to do. Unless that work involves you saving lives, which I give a lot of respect to the doctors, or if you're to the point where you're working so much to, like you're at a law firm or an engineer, and if you're happy doing that, then so be it. It's, you know, a lot of people are happy with that lifestyle. I'm not. I would never be happy with that. I've seen on the Engineering Truth, I believe the gentleman's name's Matt. It's been a minute since I've seen that channel, but I remember he said, you know, him being an engineer was one of the he just didn't like the lifestyle. He didn't like the personalities. He didn't even last that long. You know, he didn't last that long, and I get it, because it's about, you got to really wake up in the morning and say to yourself, are you excited about the day, or are you excited about a paycheck? You know, the 20s and 30s of your life nowadays is supposed to be a time where if you're starting from scratch, it's supposed to be a time for building. It's not a time for playing. You know, you get your little play on, but you're supposed to build at the same time, so that by the time you get to your late 30s, you can enjoy your life a lot more and have a life that you don't have to take a vacation from. So, and I end this video off with one of my favorite sayings, you know, you can't get fired if you own the company. So, given what's going on and given what will go on in the future, we live in an own to be owned mentality. I mean, culture. So you got to figure out what side of the fence you're on, what side of the fence you want to be on, and how you're going to get on the side of the fence that you want to be on if you're not there. So thanks for watching, and please give it a like, my video a like, please subscribe, please share, and I hope you guys have a great day and go on vacation. Enjoy your life. Smile. Say hello to people. Crazy concepts, I know. I'm wrong for saying these things. Enjoy your life. Take it easy, people.